There are things prison takes from you. People expect that part. They expect the loss, the restriction, the obvious things: loss of freedom, routine, choices, even just the ability to make a choice. But what they don't always understand is how much deeper it goes. Prison didn't just take my freedom, it took my comfort. Not just physical comfort, although that's part of it. I mean the kind of comfort that comes from knowing what your day will look like, what your life will feel like, what comes next. That disappeared. Well, I knew what my days would look like, but I didn't know where there would be a break and something different might happen. There was no more ease, no more settling in, no more background sense of everything is okay. And at first, that feels unbearable because we build our lives around comfort without even realizing it. We assume it will always be there until it isn't. And then there's certainty, the belief you know how your life is going to unfold, the quiet assumption that the future will follow the path you've imagined. Prison takes that too, because suddenly nothing is predictable, but yet everything is predictable. You don't control the timeline, you don't control the outcomes, you don't even control the small details that used to make up your day. And without certainty, you're left with something unfamiliar. You're left with not knowing, and not knowing is uncomfortable. But it's also revealing. And then there's control. This one might be the hardest because we like to believe that we're in control of our lives, our choices, our direction, our identity. And in prison, that illusion is stripped away. You're told where to go, when to eat, when to sleep, what you can and cannot do. And there's no negotiating that. There's no adjusting it to fit your preferences. There's just acceptance. And at first, that feels like loss, because it is. But something else was happening underneath all of that. As comfort disappeared, I started to notice what I had been relying on to feel okay. As certainty disappeared, I started to see how tightly I'd been holding on to outcomes. As control disappeared, I started to understand how much of my identity was built on the idea that I was in charge. And without those things, I had to find something else, something deeper, something that didn't depend on circumstances. And that's what prison gave me. It gave me awareness, not all at once, not in some sudden realization, but slowly, in quiet moments, in long stretches of time with nowhere to go and nothing to distract me from what was true. It gave me the ability to sit with myself, to see my thoughts without immediately reacting to them, to feel discomfort without trying to escape it, to exist without constantly reaching for control. And that changed me, not in a way that erased what happened, but in a way that reshaped how I moved forward. Because once you've lived without comfort, you stop expecting life to feel easy. Once you've lived without certainty, you stop needing to know how everything will turn out. Once you've lived without control, you start to understand what actually matters and what doesn't. I wouldn't choose that path. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But I can't deny what it gave me. It stripped away the things that I thought I needed and showed me what I actually did need. And that's a different kind of freedom. Not the kind that comes from being able to do whatever you want, but the kind that comes from not needing everything to be a certain way in order to be okay. Prison took a lot from me. But it also gave me something I didn't have before: the ability to sit in the unknown, to let go of control, to find steadiness in places I never thought to look. And maybe that's something we don't have to wait for everything to fall apart to learn. Maybe we can start asking now, what are we holding on to that we don't actually need? And what might happen if we just let it go? And maybe, just maybe, this is where silence breaks.